there, fellow travelers. Mark here with Wolters World. Today we're here in London, England, in the United Kingdom of Great Britain and Northern Ireland. And today what we have for you are what you should know before you come to the UK, so you can have a better time when you do visit. And we've got videos on what to know before you come to London, what to know before you come to Scotland, what to know before you come to Wales, what to know before you go to Ireland and stuff like that to help people out. And I thought we'd kind of do like a all-together one for the UK and Great Britain. Now, not Ireland, but we'll do Northern Ireland in there, okay? So I kind of want to focus on these things so you have a better idea of what to expect when you do come here, okay? And I know I'm filming this here in London, but like I want you to know is London is not all of the UK. The UK has got so many diverse parts. Wales, that's very much a outdoor adventure stuff. Going to Snowdonia National Park, Pembrokeshire coast there, the Brecon Beacons and seeing those things. Going up to Scotland and seeing the Isle of Skye and the waterfalls and all the stuff up there, the Highlands and the castles is just so beautiful. If you're going to the Midlands, you see the stately homes and stuff like that. There's a lot of really great stuff to see throughout the United Kingdom, not just here in London. So that's the first thing is make sure you're getting out to London to go explore. Even if you can only do day trips, sometimes long day trips to go see Stonehenge or Bath or getting down to Brighton and stuff like that, you can do those. But if you rent a car and go and explore more, you can see so much more of the UK very easily. And I guess I should start talking about transportation. Look, if you're going to come to the UK, I highly recommend renting a car. Now, don't be scared, because they do drive on the left side of the road. So you're kind of like, wait, they drive over here, I don't want to get in an accident. It can be a bit hair-raising at first, but I'll be honest, after about half an hour, you're totally used to the roundabouts and driving on the other side of the road, that you get used to it, okay? And the thing is, to go see the villages and go see the sights and the castles and the ruins and the palaces and stuff like that, you really need to have your own car to really get around and enjoy the UK. So I want to put that out there. Now, one thing I'll say though is if you don't want to rent a car, you can use public transportation here very easily. There's a huge bus system, there's a huge train system that will get you where you want to go. I will say though, the bus system is the cheapest way to go. The trains can be very pricey, okay? So if you want to do a day trip, maybe do a return trip and not spend the night, because then it's actually a lot cheaper to just go back and forth. But just know you do have those options. Now, when you're going around town, pretty much anywhere you go in the UK, you'll be able to get your Ubers and stuff like that, or the black cabs like here in London and the cabbies and things like that. There's a lot of apps out there that can help you get rides and stuff like that, so do look into those. So that's kind of helpful when you are here. One thing I'd say is if you're like here in London, if you're going to get into a cab, make sure you ask them, hey, I want to go here, is that okay? And they'll say hop on in, okay? So give you a heads up for that. Now, I know when you're driving around, I talked about how the trains are expensive. You might worry about like, how do I pay? What's the money like here? Well, they use the British pound here, okay? The British pound is the currency in the UK. And the thing is, if you're in Northern Ireland or if you're in Scotland, you might see a different version of the British pound. The Northern Ireland pound or the Scottish pound, they might be different. And the thing is, technically they should be accepted anywhere in the United Kingdom, but some places are like, I'm not going to take that Scottish pound. So I do recommend if you're going to get some of the different pounds, like the Scottish ones and stuff, when you're leaving Scotland, try to exchange now for like the British pounds, just to save yourself the headache later on. If you're looking to get cash out, ATMs are all over the place. It's not a problem. However, I will tell you this, most places prefer you to use card. I mean, I tried to buy some gifts for Jocelyn today. They're like, can you use your card because we don't have change? I mean, this is very much a card-based society, and if you have the contactless card where you just touch and go, I really recommend getting those, because you can use those here in London on the public transportation or getting snacks and stuff like that. It makes life a lot easier, okay? Now, if you're going to be coming with money from other countries, if you're in the bigger cities, there are exchange houses, so it's not hard to exchange money, airports and stuff like that. It's not too bad. If you're in the backwoods, or if you're out exploring and driving around, then it does get a little more complicated, okay? So that's why I say is make sure you let your local bank know that you're going to be traveling, so you can take money out on your home bank ATM at ATMs that are at banks here. That's going to be probably your best exchange rate, okay? Now, in terms of visiting the UK, in terms of prices, it's not cheap coming here, especially London. Like, London is one of the most expensive cities in the world for transportation, for eating, for staying, accommodation, stuff like that. So do have a heads up. But the thing is, once you kind of leave that like London area, prices drop. The farther you go north and the farther you go west, the farther they fall down. So you can actually have a kind of affordable trip coming here. Like if you're gonna go to Bath, you're gonna go to Wales, or going up to Scotland, it can be a lot more affordable. I know for me, I love going to York. I mean, that place is awesome. That's what I'm saying. If you got a chance to go there, okay? Because there's a lot, your money goes a lot farther when you are there, okay? Now, in terms of other things you might wanna know when you're here, if you're looking at accommodation, now, the historic bed and breakfasts throughout the UK, those are the ones I highly recommend. You're gonna be driving around, you need a place to park. The B&Bs, they'll be able to hook you up, and you get to stay in the countryside and stuff like that. Have that English breakfast or a Scottish breakfast or a Welsh breakfast or the Welsh cakes and stuff like that. You'll have those when you go to the B&Bs. I highly recommend that. At least you get to stay in one or two while you are in the UK. And the thing is sometimes you can't do that. Like, in London, it's a little bit tougher to find a B&B, or in Manchester. So there are hotels, there are chain hotels, no problem. I'm here for a convention right now, and I'm staying at a DoubleTree because that's at the convention center. So you do have those options there. I will say, make sure when you're booking your rooms, if you're coming as a family, put how many kids you have and adults, because you just do that kind of like the traditional, just I want a hotel room. They might only give you like a 1-bedroom, like with 1 bed, and if you need more space, you might want to let them know that so everything can be taken care of. Now, if you're going to be here, you're probably going to say, hey, Mark, what do I eat when I'm here? One thing that's cool about the UK is you have a lot of mixtures of people from all over Europe and all over the world here, so you have a lot of really good food. I mean, I know it sounds crazy. You think, Britain, food, good? What? That's crazy. Oh no, the foodie revolution has really come to Britain, and you can eat really well, and you can have great international fare. The Indian food here is fantastic. You can get all kinds of good stuff there. But I know most people, when they come here, they want to think of like the British food, and we have a whole video on food in England that'll kind of help you out there, and I do recommend you checking it out. But like breakfast, yes, you're going to have your full English breakfast with the beans and the tomato and stuff like that, and the eggs and the bacon and things like that. You will have that. But when you're going around during the day, kind of like the staple British stuff, you might get a beef burger, or you might get a meat pie or a chicken pie or something like that. Also, fish and chips from a chippy is kind of a traditional thing to have when you are here. And you can eat at the pubs when you're here. You can go to restaurants. There's just tons of options out there. In terms of tipping, I would say like 10% tipping is fine here. If you're at the pub, usually you don't really tip at the pub. You just tip at the restaurants. When you are drinking your beer here, you can get cold beer and you can get not as cold beer. And you notice the ales are the ones that aren't as cold. And what they actually do is they pull the beer, they pump it out. Okay, so it gets pumped out for you. That's an ale. Those are my favorite ones here. But if you want other beers, it's no problem. If you're up in Scotland, of course, have the whiskey and things like that. There's some really good stuff. And the thing is, wherever you're going, like if you're on the coast, have the fish pies, have the mussels and stuff like that. You can eat really well. And the thing is, throughout the UK, there actually are some regional specialties. And yes, I could say like haggis and fried Mars bars in Scotland, but there's actually like really good, I mean, those actually are pretty good, I'm not gonna lie to you, but there's like regional dishes you're gonna have around. So when you go to your restaurant, especially if you're going to like the local pub or something like that, you might ask them, hey, what's the local specialty? What should I get when I'm here? And it might be, oh, well, it's Sunday, we have a Sunday roast, you should have that. You can do those things, okay? Now, for my friends, someone asked me about this. Well, I know England's supposed to be tea. Can I get my coffee? Believe me, the Starbucks and the Costa coffees, they're all over the place. You're not gonna have any problems with that, okay? Now, another thing I always kind of worry about is, what about my Wi-Fi? What about my phone connections? Is there good Wi-Fi here? Look, your 4G stuff is going to work all over the UK. I will say, if you're kind of like in the Highlands of Scotland, or you're in the back in the hills of Wales, sometimes you won't have a signal there. So you're going to be driving. I do recommend getting the GPS on your car when you're there. But in general, you're not going to have any problems with your phones and getting your data and stuff like that when you're traveling around the UK. Also, many restaurants, cafes, hotels, bars have free internet. Just ask for the password, or they might actually have a sign that says sign up here, here's the password. So you're not gonna have any problems staying connected while you are here. A lot of people when they travel, they worry about safety when they're going around. I find the UK to be pretty safe. I mean, there's issues just like you have anywhere else, but I don't think there's any more or less dangerous things in other places in Europe or the US and stuff like that. So just use your usual travel sense when you're there. Probably the thing that I've seen the most that's gotten travelers is actually to say drive on the left. When you walk out in the street, make sure you look right first. I was here a couple months ago with Liam, and we were about, 10 meters behind this couple, and they walked out, and a truck hit them. It was horrible. I mean, luckily Liam didn't see it, but I did. It was just horrible because they were looking the wrong way, and it does happen. It's not a joke, okay? You need to be careful when you're doing those things. That's going to be the most dangerous thing, especially if you're taking your kids. Make sure you're like with them and paying attention, because you forget as well. You're used to left, right, left, not right, left, right. So make sure you're paying attention that way. That's what I feel is kind of the most dangerous kind of thing you're going to be worried about. Now, of course, in the big cities, there's going to be parts of towns you don't go to, but as a tourist, you're not going to those places anyway, so I wouldn't worry too much about that. Now, one danger I will tell you, though, is you got to realize the culture here in the UK, it's not always prim and proper and stuff like that, but it is kind of prim and proper. But one thing I'll tell you with the culture here is don't queue jump or line jump. Don't cut in line. I know some places lines are just like a big mass at the door. Oh, no, here, they're all about the line. They're all about the queue, so do not mess with that. That's definitely one of those things that you don't do here, okay? You don't mess with the lines. So do have a heads up for that one, because you will upset people and they'll be like, excuse me, sir, the line's back there. So, don't piss anybody off. off. Also, another thing with the lines I should warn you about, when you're going to eat, you're going to eat at a pub, make sure you get your table number, because you might order at the bar and then you got to tell them I'm table 38, you pay, and they bring it to you later. And then of course you have the sights of the UK. Look, there is so much to see and do in each part of the country that you really should have a Northern Ireland trip, have a Wales trip, have a Scotland trip, have a Midlands England trip, have a North trip, have a Southern England trip, have a London trip, because there's so much to see and do in the different ones. So if you're going to be going to Wales, like I said, it's very much a nature thing. Snowdonia National Park, hiking in Brecon Beacons and stuff like that, the Pembrokeshire coast, they're just gorgeous. You're heading up to Scotland, of course you got to go to Edinburgh and Edinburgh Castle and see all the stuff there and the Royal Mile. I mean, it's just such a really cool city. And you go there and yes, you can see the William Wallace Memorial when you're there, and when you're going by Stirling and Stirling Castle there. Eileen Donan Castle is really cool if you're on your way to the Isle of Skye. That's a nice thing you can stop by when you're there in the Isle of Skye with the waterfalls coming off the side of the cliffs. I mean, it's just gorgeous going to the Highlands, trying to see Nessie on Loch Ness. There's tons of stuff in Scotland to see. In the UK, in England, my favorite town, I mean, I love London. I've been here so many times, but for me, the coolest, best place to go as a tourist is actually York in the north. It's kind of a pain to get to sometimes, but if you can go there, it's fantastic. There's this part where the buildings almost touch together. It's just such a cool city you can go check out. One thing I've liked to do is actually, if you go to some of the stately homes, a lot of them are now museums, and you can go see them and visit them, see their gardens and stuff like that. The National Trust and other organizations have really done a great job keeping the historic homes historic and beautiful. So go and get those. And if you're going to go, I recommend getting the membership pass or something like that, so you can save money on the entry fees, because once you go to 2 or 3 of them, you're actually going to start saving money. So look for the deals when you are here, because there's some stuff you can get that can really save you some cash. Okay, now some other great places to go. I mean, Jocelyn's favorite town though is Bath. And when you go to Bath, you have the Roman baths that are there. But for me, you see the Royal Crescent there, and you see the architecture there, the Georgian architecture in Bath. It's just so gorgeous. Maybe we'll go down to Brighton and go down there and see the palace there. And it's just really cool, all the different things you have to see and do when you are here. Seeing the cliffs of Dover, going to Canterbury and seeing they have all the silly stuff like the animatronic Canterbury Tales things. They have those things too. But it's a cool city to check out. Go to other places throughout the country. Going to the Peak District, going to the Lake District. There's all these little districts you can go and enjoy and have a great time. Heck, just go spend some time in Kent, the Garden of England. They have all these really cool places you can see and visit when you're here. So don't just stay in London. Go out and explore the UK, because there's so much to enjoy and see when you are here. I've been here dozens of times for good reason, because I really have enjoyed it. I brought my family here, I brought my parents here, I brought my friends here, I brought ex-girlfriends here, I brought all kinds of people here, because everybody has come, we've always had a great time. So I hope you have a great time too when you do come to the UK. Oh, if you're going to go to Northern Ireland, how could I forget about Northern Ireland? Yes, you can go to Belfast, Whiskey Trail kind of stuff, but for me, the coolest thing to see in Northern Ireland is going to Giant's Causeway. It's these pillars coming out of the sea kind of stuff, and the waves crashing on it. I mean, it's just gorgeous. So there's just that. But anyway, I hope this helps you know a bit more about visiting the UK. If you want to learn more, check us out on our website at woltersworld.com. We're also on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, Pinterest. And if you like travel videos like this to help you travel, give you some honest advice, so before you go, you're better prepared, click that subscribe button, click that notification bell, and you'll get our new videos every Wednesday and Saturday when we put up our new videos. And we give a special thank you to all of our patrons on Patreon who make videos like this possible. If you want to learn how you can support us, go to patreon.com/woltersworld to find out more. And I'll say bye from here in London.